This afternoon, the entry to the course was easier than morning, I hope. We can be a little more relaxed in the session. We don't need to be tense. Feel free a little. I can see very tense faces there. For the faces I have, a warm afternoon to all of you. We would like you to enjoy this course as much as possible. And therefore, this session is going to concentrate only on what these 4 modules are, what will happen to us for the next 21 days. 21 days is a long time in your life to give for a human rights course. And therefore, what will we do these 21 days is what we will do in this session. Friends, I will be assisted with my friend Rajavelu, who will operate the slides, and I request him to come forth with the slides. Yeah. Now, this is a certificate course in human rights, friends, conducted by the Institute of Human Rights Education of People's Watch, which, by the way, has been responsible for teaching human rights in the largest number of schools program in this country. We have covered over 20,000 schools in over 20 states. And I see somebody from Assam, happy to tell you that the Don Bosco fathers were responsible for this in Assam, the state of Assam. This program will be divided into 4 modules. Hello? Any problem? Any problem? Can I go ahead?
Henry, are you using a speaker next to you?
Can I go ahead?
Yes.
Now can I go ahead?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. Friends, this certificate course is divided into 4 modules, and the modules are not all of same size, in the sense that the first module will have more number of classes, and the change the slide, please.
We have lost Henry Rajvel.
Sir? 1 minute. Yes, we lost you a bit.
Can you put on the sides, please?
Yeah, 1 minute.
Can you pass the slides on to all the participants so that they have it in their hands?
Please, Jaikumar, requesting you to share it with all the participants.
Rajavel, can I?
Hello.
What's happening? Why the slides not up? You're not hearing me? No. Huh? You put on the slides then. Okay, am I audible? Am I audible? Matthew, am I audible?
Now you are. Now you are. We lost you for a good amount of time.
Okay, I will start from the beginning, but I request Rajavel to ensure with Priya that all the slides are passed on to the participants so that they can simultaneously follow it if it in case doesn't come on the screen. Can I go ahead?
Yes. Yes.
Can I go? Okay. So friends, the first module, before I get into the first module, I want to tell you that this has the learning process that has been envisaged here has a portion for candidates' personal reading. If you read in advance the materials that are sent to you, following the classes would be easier. We have chosen a medium because we have no, but we want to make sure that we are as correct as possible. After the first, the lecture by the speakers themselves and not operated elsewhere. And the third would be the question and answers and the clarifications after the lecture. Reading materials will be supplied to the participants every day relating to the subject matter of the following day. We do not propose to send materials in advance because people would not look at those materials. We propose to send you materials. And the end of the day. The day and the learning process evaluation at the end of the session. Friends, unit 1 of this module, if Rajwell can accompany me, it will be good. Unit 1 of will include the inauguration that we had this morning and Matthew, can I go ahead?
Henry, you need to switch off your video because your voice is breaking very badly. We can't follow it. So best way will be to switch off the video.
I will. Off and fine. Is it better now? Now?
The video is not off.
The voice better now?
Slightly better.
Oh. Rajabel, are the slides coming?
Sorry, should I change the slides?
Henry, can you hear us?
No, he is
I can hear you
reconnecting.
very well.
Okay, now speak without the video. Your video is off. You can continue.
Okay, I hope it is fine. But I'm a little upset that the PowerPoints have not reached the participants. Then it makes this job easier. Rajavelu?
He's sharing it on the screen.
Okay.
Henry, you can continue. Yeah.
Is it on the screen?
He's putting it. You can start.
Okay, friends. Now, I had completed Unit 1. You can now go to Unit 2. For all of you who have your course material with you, as long as it is not on the screen, follow it there. The Unit 2 will start tomorrow with the historical origins of human rights, followed by the definition of human rights. That would be Unit 2. Next slide. Unit 3 would be on the classification of human rights, how human rights are divided into civil and political rights, socio-economic, cultural rights, etc. An introduction to what rights holders are and what duty bearers are. And the third, to understand what is a human rights based approach. We should have a human rights based approach in everything that the government does. And much of what we saw happening these days are not with a human rights based approach at all. So what is human rights based approach is something that we will be looking at, and we will be having a very well-equipped resource person for that. The fourth unit is a very, very big unit. And this fourth unit is on the introduction to thematic human rights laws. We are getting into a variety of human rights laws. There will be a presentation for the whole day, 1.5 hour, on laws relating to women, children, Dalits, Adivasis, trans persons, persons with disabilities, etc., etc., environmental rights, business human rights, refugee rights, right to health, right to food, right to education, policing, and human rights. Usually when we have the session on human rights, people are very happy that we stop only with policing and human rights. We brought policing and human rights as the last, and we brought all other human rights in front to show that all these laws are important in terms of understanding what thematic human rights are. We have a young lawyer who will be doing this. There will be a lot of material that will be passed on to you for your reading. What can be done in the session would be done in the session. Next slide. Part 5 would be then to the thematic rights. Part 4. Come earlier. Stop there. Human rights and disability one day. Have to be raised. Put your questions in your chat box. In the chat box. And there is a team which will be selecting the questions so that when the 30 minutes is over, we will have the questions ready and we can ensure the speaker would respond to those questions. So don't make questions because probably that it has to be selected based on what the speaker has addressed. Next slide. Then we move on to the Dalit rights are human rights. Rights of manual scavengers are human rights. Tribal rights are human rights. To denote person human rights and right to information human rights. We are getting the best people on the subject for these topics, and I will come to that a little later. Next. Next is on the next batch will be on environmental rights and human rights, business and human rights, rights of religious minorities are human rights, labor rights are human rights. And it's going to be quite interesting to see how we look at labor rights as human rights, particularly in what is taking place in the country today. Next. We'll be looking at right to freedom of expression as a human right, right to freedom of association as human rights, the right to food as a human right, and housing rights as human rights. These are the next batch. And the last batch would be next. The rights of the elderly persons, refugee rights, right to health, right to education, and we culminate with policing and human rights. So these are, friends, the whole list of topics that would come in Unit 4. This will be followed by Unit 5. In Unit 4, almost all in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, excepting on Sunday, 17th May. Please note it in your calendar. The morning is free. People who know me are quite surprised how the morning is free. But the morning is free. And the afternoon, we will be having 1.5 hours of a session on right to information. And the right to information will be handled by an expert on that particular day. Then we come finally to part 5, identifying. Next slide, please. Where we will look at the role of national human rights institutions. It's important for us to understand what are national human rights institutions, what are the United Nations, what are non-governmental organizations, who are human rights defenders, what is the state that we refer to, what is this media that we refer to, and finally, the importance of human rights education. Friends, with this, the units are generally over. Next slide. And then we come to a special lecture. The special, like before this, after the special lecture will be the evaluation. The special lecture is by someone who's extremely good. You will see the list later on the modern challenges to the concept of human rights. The concept of human rights today is under challenge. And if you want to understand that, then we need to look at what the challenges are. And this is somebody who has done extensive work on matters like right to privacy, etc. And she has willingly agreed to be with us for the special culminating lecture of the unit 1 of the module 1. And last would be an evaluation and a feedback in a plenary session that we will be doing. So, dear friends, this is your module 1. You then have next. This is your schedule, which you already have in your hand. I'm sure you can look at the schedule and come straight to. You will see the types of resource persons we have brought in. The list of resource persons is a very prestigious list of resource persons. We have with us tomorrow Mr. Ravi Nair, and after that Professor Parivalan from Tata Institute of Social Sciences. All the details of the list of resource persons is already in your hand. Please look at them, come prepared, whom you're going to meet, whom you're going to hear the following day. Don't come unprepared for the session without even knowing who is going to address the meeting. These will be powerful 30 minutes presentations. All of them are strong orators also, so there'll be a lot of passion because they're also activists. We have people like Ruth Manorama, Inakshi Ganguly, Deepak Nathan, Ramesh Nathan, Bezavada Wilson, Nandini Sundar, Professor Nandini Sundar from Delhi, etc., etc., etc. So you have the whole list with you, and I don't want to take your time on that list in your hand. After this timetable, just go through the timetable. After the timetable, Rajvel, the slides after the timetable, module 2. Rajvel. Rajvel.
He lost his connection, Henry.
Who?
Rajvel, he's reconnecting.
He's reconnecting. Okay. While he's reconnecting, the moment he's there, he will come there. Friends, every day, as I told you in the morning, I will repeat it now. We have what is called for these sessions, we have the list of resource persons as you would have seen in the list. And then we have a list of facilitators. We have a list of facilitators. We have 16 different facilitators. I was not able to explain in the earlier course who the facilitators were. Once you see the slides, and the slides will be in your hand also, the list of course facilitators will be with you. Can I go ahead, Matthew?
Yeah, please continue. Please continue.
You can hear?
Yeah, we all can follow you perfectly well. No.
Thank you. Thank you. Just checking. The course facilitators. All the course facilitators are people who are trained in human rights. They have worked for several years in the field of human rights. All trained in the human in terms of our people who are there for you. And the pedagogy that we will be following, as I said, was your preparatory readings, the lecture, followed by question and answers, you're reading the resource material, the evaluation with the facilitator, and carrying on individual or group activity. So this is the pedagogy that is contemplated in the program. Now, as regards the facilitators, who are these people? I know there are a number of students here. None of your teachers are going to be your facilitators. Be happy about it. Or if there are students who have their parents as facilitators, you will not be in the same group as your father or mother who is a facilitator serving here. The facilitator is not your monitor. The facilitator is your friend. And I hope the facilitators will also behave as your friend. Facilitators are not to give you another lecture for 3 hours. Facilitators are there to accompany you throughout the course and be your friend, be your mentor, and assist us in monitoring your attendance and then ensure that you have completed the activities. Suddenly, student friends might be wondering, what is this attendance in between? We have one person who's looking at the attendance because some colleges who have deputed students here are particular to ensure that their students also attending the entire course, and that is you don't only put your picture mark there and then go off other things at home, but that you are attending the course completely. Therefore, whenever you leave, we will be noting it here in the central office. So kindly see every day to have a meeting with you at 5:30. They will have a meeting with you at 5:30, and this meeting will be exactly for 15 minutes. And if it has to be exactly for 15 minutes, the facilitator will not speak during that meeting. The facilitator will be hearing you during that meeting. And the facilitator will attend to 3 different things in that meeting. One, get a feedback from you. I'm now speaking to an audience I cannot see. I'm speaking to an audience I cannot see. Luckily, on the side, I see one of the facilitators, Mr. Susai, with his very colorful banyan. Just assessing when we don't, am I audible? Can I go on, etc. Because we don't have anything except a plain laptop in front of me. I can't even see my own face now because I've had to put my video off. Therefore, it is important that we hear from the facilitators. And if the facilitators have to hear the difficulties you had, then you should be also able to communicate to the facilitators briefly. Don't give a lecture for 15 minutes because there are 15 people to speak. What are the important points? Just mention feedback to adjust and ensure maybe we'll have newer difficulties the following day. So review is one. Expressing to you what the activity for the next day is will also be mentioned. Most probably all this will be in your hands by the time the facilitator speaks. So for today's activity, the material has already reached you. You know what it is. 1.1, 1.2, we will be running through it here. But the facilitator can also explain to you if you need any explanation. That's point number 2. The point number 3 is to ensure that he or she tells you what will happen tomorrow. So they'll tell you who the speaker tomorrow is and remind you a little bit of what the classroom is tomorrow. These are 3 things that the facilitator will do. The facilitator can also be approached by the participants. Supposing you are 15 of you with Madam Margaret from Karnataka. And all of you feel that we would like to have a special brief session in Kannada with Margaret. Margaret is an extraordinary trainer of human rights. She will willingly do it for you. Now, after 15 minutes is not compulsory. I can already see some of my student friends from Madurai saying, "Oh, you, another 1.5 hours in the afternoon," and then there is somebody with the facilitator. No, the facilitator, the 15 minutes is compulsory. After that is voluntary. If you want, you can continue with the facilitator. How you will continue with the facilitator will be explained to you. Don't worry. We will tell you how that will go on. It is not on WhatsApp. It is also on Zoom. And we will tell you how that will continue a little later. Now, the facilitator will also inform you of where you stand in terms of attendance. And so that you might be able to correct yourself. And the facilitator will also mark the completion of your activities, whether it was completed on time, whether it was completed with delayed time, or whether the activity was not carried on. These are all important for us in the evaluation procedure to ensure before the granting of a certificate that this is done. Otherwise, this will not be entertained as a proper certificate course. You are also free to communicate with your facilitator. If you find that there is something more that you want from your facilitator, you mutually agree with your facilitator, and there is no problem. After that, you can ensure that this correspondence, this communication goes on between both of you. There's no problem in that. So this is the role of the facilitator, and I hope all the facilitators will reach out to you. I repeat again, 15 minutes after the session is over at 5:30 is compulsory. Please, this is what you can give us. More than 15 minutes, you want to continue, that is your group's decision. Those who can continue. Those who do not want, don't need to continue. So this is what is the voluntary part and what is the mandatory part. Friends, from here I will move on to the next slide, which was supposed to be, which might already be in your hands, is on the sharing of reading material. All reading material, PowerPoints, details of activities are coming to you in the common WhatsApp as well as in the Google group for the list of participants. You will all be receiving this on a daily basis so that you will have material in your hand as the session is being conducted. We will ensure the better performance of this, heightened performance of this in the days to come. I prepared this PowerPoint in a way that you will have it in your hand so that nothing can be missed. Everything is recorded. So that is the sharing of material that will take place. And your Zoom link will be also dispatched twice a day, as it is done once at 3 o'clock, as was done today, and at 8 o'clock in the morning, so that we don't have these passwords which change as it happened in the morning today. I think we will be a little more careful. We are learning our lessons, and we thank you for your understanding and cooperation in this regard. Friends, after that are activities. Oh my goodness. Activities, most of you would be a little worried about activities. And the question is that activities are to be carried out for about 10-15 minutes a day. And these are things which are mostly non-written. So you don't need to be scared of writing. It will be recording your views, getting a selfie, passing it on to us with what you have observed, small little exercises, etc. So don't need to already worry that there is a activity which is going to torture you. Very relaxed manner to carry and you to carry activities, because if you engage this activity